Hello, everyone. Good evening. Thank you for joining. Breed admin, I think that you disabled my host ability, so I'm unable to share screen. Please, can you assign host or you share the screen so we can start? Hello, everyone. How was your day? How was your week? Hope you found time to breathe and have a good day. We will start shortly once, yes, so now, thank you. Okay, so while others are joining, we will just start. Once again, good evening and thank you for joining the call. My name is Ladi Stephen. I'm the co-convener of the Breed platform, and this evening I'll be spending this first hour with you. Once again, Happy New Year. This is our first meeting for 2025. Thank you, everybody, for making out the time. Thank you for all the support we received last year. Thank you for the partnerships. Thank you for those who encouraged us, those who believed in the vision, those who supported, those who prayed along. Thank you, everyone. Once again, the Breed platform is focused on marriage and mental health and strengthening godly relationships. Am I able, sorry, let me just check if I'm able to move or something is wrong on the screen. Let me be sure. Okay, yeah. So we're a platform that is focused on godly marriages and its impact on mental health. We realize that there are many times that people do not make the connection between the issues in their lives, be it physical, be it mental, be it emotional, or even spiritual, and ultimately physical, to the mental health issues that they face. So the platform uses tested and tried mental health principles, the principles of lifestyle medicine, and the timely wisdom from God's word to support healthy relationships, marriage relationships, and the family as a whole. This evening, we will start off the year by talking about letting go and starting all over. And the Breathe admin will just put our first poll on the chat. Letting go and starting all over again. What is it that we need to let go? What do we need to start all over as we start a new year, as we look into the goals, the aspirations that we have for 2025? Are there things that we need to drop? Are there things that we need to pick up, even as we make our resolutions for this year? So the first poll is up. If you can see, please feel free to put your responses, your comments, and don't worry, nobody else can see your comments. So it's not an exam. What is your biggest challenge when it comes to letting go? So we have on the poll, fear of the unknown, emotional attachment, lack of support, uncertainty about the future, any other that you can feel free to specify in the chat room. So we'll take 1 minute to finish our poll. Please, if you can see the poll up already, I don't know what you can see because I'm sharing screen. Please just put yes in the chat so that the admin is aware that we can see, or they need to pull up something. Put your comments, your responses for the poll. 30 more seconds and we'll take the poll down, the first poll down. Oh, I think I have too many things open. Sorry. Okay, so what does it mean to let go and to start all over? For those who did the poll, we saw some of the things that look hard or look a bit difficult or easy for us to let go. Letting go means releasing the past, whether it's the burdens, the weight, whatever it is that was in the past. In 2024, in the years before, yes, our poll results are out. So 25% of the people have fear of the unknown as their biggest challenge, lack of support, and then uncertainty about the future is the highest. Yeah, like it's so true. It's so reflective of how all our lives are. Thank you, everyone, for participating in the poll. So yes, letting go, leaving the hurts of the past, the regrets, the things that did not work, our limiting beliefs, the things that we put up to hold ourselves back. Letting go. And facing today. Why are we letting go? Because it is past. It's in the past and there's nothing really that we can do about it. But today is here and it is now. So letting go and starting all over involves facing today the way it is, having the courage to face today, to confront the realities of our today, to confront the difficulty, the ugly situation, whatever you call it, having that courage to look it in the eye and determine what it will look like from today. But having that courage to first stand and confront the reality of our today. And finally, looking into the future to create a new path, to create a better life, to unlock possibilities and for what can be, what could be, and what is in the future. Oh, my slides. Okay, so some common misconceptions about letting go and starting all over. As easy as it sounds, it's not always easy to let go and start all over. It can be challenging because it takes a lot of effort. It takes a lot of commitment. It takes a lot to let go of the familiar, to let go of the comfortable zone that you've been in all the while and to start again. It takes a lot to let go of the pain, to let go of the hurt that someone has inflicted upon you. Yes, you feel justified to hold on to it. So letting go without having any form of revenge or having something, seeing something happen to that person who must have done that to you, it is not always easy. It takes a lot. And it even takes, it's many times we're so hard on ourselves. And having the courage to say, I don't need to be so hard on myself. So it makes letting go and starting all over not always easy. And another misconception is it's about forgetting. You know how they say forgive and forget. Yes, you forgive, but you don't always get to forget, because the human mind is so beautiful that it is able to store. So how do you erase the past? Sometimes it is not possible to erase the past. So it's not all about forgetting. And another misconception is if I let go, then it's a sign that I am weak. No, like I said before, it takes a lot of courage to create a better life, to create a better tomorrow. It takes a lot of courage to let go of the familiar and step into territories that are unfamiliar, what you don't know. So why should I let go? Because it's the past. If you hold on to the past, it's a weight. You know, when you're holding weight, I really always like when I do the mental health trainings, I always like to hold a glass of water. I didn't come with my glass of water today. And you know, the more I hold this glass of water, if I ask you what's the weight of this glass of water, this holder of water in my hand, you most likely say 0.5 liters or something. But the weight doesn't really matter, because right now that I'm holding it, it's insignificant. But if I hold it for a whole day, then the weight begins to matter. It's the same thing with the past. You know, the more you hold on to the past, the heavier it becomes. The heavier it becomes when you spend time brooding over something that, you know, you should have let go, something that was a pain, that was an experience that was not so good from the past. The more we spend time on it, then it becomes heavier. So holding on to the past keeps us from going forward because of the weight that comes with it. And if we don't go forward, then we don't have the opportunity and the space for anything that is new, because we are stuck with the old. And letting go also enables us to embrace the present, you know, because when we focus on the past, we are stuck there, you know. But letting go helps us to appreciate what we have today and where we are at. And it creates room for more. It creates room to, you know, to have more. I like what a favorite man of God always says, that orderliness creates room for more. When your life is organized, when you are not holding on to baggage from the past, there will be room for you to experience the new. And when we let go of all those emotional baggage, the negativity, the pain from the past, then we can heal and we can enjoy pain. And for the context of our mental well-being, it helps us to live a stress-free life, to be free of anxiety and all the mental health issues that we know about and we talk about in all other sessions. And letting go gives us the opportunity to grow and to evolve. The you who was here 1 year ago is not the same you who is here. Well, it may be the same you, but in the context of evolution, you're different. It's either you agree to grow, because you're older, even if for nothing, your age is not the same. If for nothing, something shifted in your life. So letting go of the past gives us the room to focus and to evolve, to grow, to have a growth mindset that helps us to have a more fulfilling life. What should I let go? From the first poll, I think the second poll can come up now, right? Admin, sorry. The second poll is supposed to come up at this time. Yes. Which of the following areas do you find most difficult to start over in? Your relationships, your career, personal growth and self-improvement, health and wellness, any other area, feel free to specify in the chat. We'll give 1 minute for the polls and then we'll continue. Which areas do we find most difficult to experience growth, to experience change, for us to start all over again in our relationships, in our career, in our personal growth and self-improvement, health and wellness, and any other area? Okay, so wait for the outcome of the poll. Okay, what should I let go? Past mistakes and guilt. You know, I find that in the course of supporting people, one of the greatest things that holds people back is guilt. Yes, our polls are up. We have personal growth and self-improvement as the highest area where people struggle to start over. And then secondly, relationships. We have 67% for personal growth and self-improvement, and personal relationships are at 33%. This is a fantastic group because for health and wellness, we're all doing well. So this is good. But this tells us the area where we need to pay some attention to our relationships and our personal growth and development. So as I was saying, that one of the areas that I find that people get stuck in is in guilt. Something that happened in the past, a past mistake, an experience that was not good. But here we are in the here and now. You know, God doesn't hold the guilt against us. Why should we hold it against ourselves? So things to let go, past mistakes. Yes, they were mistakes, but they're in the past. They've happened. There's nothing we can do about it. So why are we stuck in, why do we allow ourselves to stay there? Other things, negative self-talk. I'm not good enough. Oh, I always do things wrongly. You remember one of our calls, we did a list of negative self-talk that people, you know, condition their minds to speak to themselves, and it becomes your reality. Because the more you say these things to yourself, then it becomes, you begin to see yourself in that light, and it becomes your reality, and it creates a new normal for you. You know, so negative self-talk, faulty thinking. She doesn't like me because, oh, every time I do this, this is how my boss behaves. My husband talks to me like this because, you know, so negative self-talk, toxic environment. Some relationships are really toxic. And, you know, staying in such environments can poison you. And it's not just personal relationships, even work. There are some work environments that are really toxic. Fear of the unknown, like we put in our earlier chat, fear of failure. What if I fail, if I try? What does the future look like? Will I be able to take care of myself? Will I be able to pay my children's school fees next semester? All the questions about the fear, about tomorrow that we cannot answer, but keep us trapped. And then emotional wounds and trauma. This is really, really serious. And many times we live a lot with this. A lot of people, you know, as I said in the earlier slides, because we have lived with these wounds and trauma for so long, it has created a new normal in our lives that we think that this is now who we are. This is now how we behave. But it comes from deep-seated wounds that people have held on to, deep-seated wounds and trauma that people have experienced but have not healed from. You know, those are things that hold us back. Those are things that we should consider letting go. They are painful. It's not an easy process, as we said earlier, but it is worth considering to let go because it keeps us stuck. Then the other ones, perfectionism and control. Everything must be perfect. I must always be in control. it really keeps us stuck and frustrated. And then people pleasing. Everybody will never like you, so never make the effort to try. And then big on the list is also unforgiveness. I read something on someone's DP not so long ago, and he said, unforgiveness is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. Unforgiveness is so deep and it is so real. And it's so, the things that cause us to go into unforgiveness, they are legitimate, but because of the harm it does to us, it causes us to become bitter, to become hardened in our hearts, to live in a state that keeps us frustrated. Unforgiveness, resentment, those are things that we should let go. Unrealistic expectations and comparison. In marriage, this is one of the big reasons why people are frustrated. Unrealistic expectations. We come into marriage because we have a perfect picture of our spouse, and then when we get married, this perfect picture, our spouse does not live up to that. Nobody ever does, and then we get frustrated. Many times when I'm listening to couples talking, you can hear that the bane of the problem is because there are expectations that were not met. But again, for the other person who is feeling unfairly judged, it is feeling like these expectations that you have of me, there was no way I was going to live up to that because this is not me. And for the comparison, social media does not help us. When you by the click of a button, you see someone whose life look perfect, and then you're feeling like, oh my God, my life, my life is so unlike this, and it just keeps you in a perpetual state of unhappiness. Procrastination and laziness. As career people who are on this call, we know how that, I'll do it later. And then unhealthy habits and addictions. This is another big thing that keeps us trapped and keep us stuck. Addictions of so many kinds. Before we used to just know a few set of addiction, but in the present world, the field of addiction is so broad because people are getting addicted to every kind of thing. Just by the touch of a button or just by an exposure. Then another thing that keeps us trapped that we need to consider letting go is the need to always be right. We cannot always be right. There's nobody who knows it all. So that frustration that you're facing in your marriage, could it be that it's because you feel I always have to be right, or I'm always right? You can never be always right. And then the other aspects that we should consider letting go as families, as married couples, is the burden of unbalanced strength. Marriage is for two people, but many times we come into marriage and the weight of the marriage is on one partner. It becomes such a heavy burden to carry for the one partner. So as partners, we need to consider supporting each other. And then the last one on the slide is learned helplessness, where you think, I can't do anything for myself. And sometimes it doesn't come out as I can't do anything for myself. It is because that's why it's learned helplessness, right? You have something in you has come to believe that I need help always in this respect. And the issue we talked about on our last finance and marriage call, the issue of black tax. Part of the issue with black tax is learned helplessness, because we have people who have gotten to the point that they just think there's nothing I can do for myself. I think the third poll is asking us, what else do we think is not here and we need to consider letting go? Please put it in the chat. We are going quickly because no. Sorry, this is not the one. So any other thing that we don't have on this, please feel free to put in the chat so that we all know what we need to consider, what we need to pay attention to, which of it is in our lives that we need to let go. So any other one that we don't have here, please feel free to put it in the chat so that we can all learn. Okay. So there are times that even though we have listed some of the things that we need to let go there, I think someone put something in the chat. Yes, unrealistic. Yeah, unreal desires. It's true. Yeah, so true. So at what point do we know that? What shows us, what are some of the signs that we can see that would tell us that this thing I'm holding on to, or this thing in my life, or this situation that I am, or this season that I am, it's time to let go? One is constant negativity. Are there persistent negative thoughts or emotions that are going through your mind every time, consistently, no matter how you try to shake them off? Then it's time to let go of whatever that issue that keeps you constantly having those negative emotions, those negative thoughts. It's time to consider letting go. And I just want to say at this point, before we continue, that when we say letting go, remember what we said at the beginning. Letting go doesn't always mean quitting. It does not mean quitting. It may simply mean changing the way that you're doing something. So that when I say negativity, someone's like, yeah, it's time to just work out. No. So it may just be, how are you doing what you're doing? So because some of these signs, you'll see them in so many areas of your life. What does that mean? Does it always mean I need to leave? Or does it simply show me that I need to do things differently? Do I need to learn a new skill? Do I need to build a new capacity? Secondly, feeling stuck. I think the feeling of stuckness and overwhelm is one of the most frequent things that I hear among career people. I feel so overwhelmed. I feel stuck, So when we come to that point where we're feeling stuck, we're feeling trapped in a situation, despite all our efforts, then it's time to look and let go of something. When we have lost passion, when we have this consistent feeling of lethargy, no more energy, no more joy, the things that used to give you joy, the things you used to enjoy, you no longer feel any passion towards it. It's time to check, what do I need to let go? Again, as we said in the previous slide, toxic environment, we need to consider making a change when we're in such environments. Then things and environment situations that drain our energy spiritually, emotionally, or physically. Also, it's a pointer that it's time to let something go. Then recurring patterns, whether it is spiritually, whether it is emotionally, whether it is physically, it is time to check, why do I continue to recycle this pattern? Why do I continue to recycle this negative experiences? It's a pointer to sit, to reflect, and find out, what do you need to change? And then lack of alignment. When your values are no longer matching your current situation, it could be at work. It could be, I know I have my circle of friends that there are certain jobs that came to them. They were very juicy, but because there was no alignment between the values of those organizations and their personal values, they had to turn down those jobs. And also another sign is when God has moved on. It's a pointer for us that it's a change of season. Staying stuck in a situation, in an experience, in a place where God has moved on for you is also very dangerous. I remember being in a job one time, and I had just finished, it was a good job, and I had just finished drawing up a 2-year plan for my unit. And then I heard the Lord said, it's time to move on. And I remember one of my mentors asking me at that time, like, Laddie, who does this kind of thing? And I remember, but I couldn't explain to him that, you see, God had already told me to move on, because it looked like a very, very stupid decision at the time. But I knew that God was no longer there. If I stayed there beyond that time, I would be on my own, because God had moved on from that time. So signs to let go: when God has moved out of his situation, when God has moved out of his season, don't stay stuck there, because you will be alone. So that's also another clear sign that it's time to move on. Okay. What if I don't want to let go? Well, like I said, we have legitimate reasons to hold on, like fear of the unknown, which we talked about, and then attachment to the past. It's a comfortable zone. It's not easy to just move on from that point, right? So what if I don't want to let go? So what's the cost of holding on? We lose opportunities. We're emotionally stagnated, as we saw in the previous slides. And it's a lot of physical strain. The stress that comes with holding on, like I talked about, the weight that was initially insignificant, but the more I held on to it, then it became more and more significant as the time went on. It's the same thing with holding on to baggage or things or experiences or situations or even blessings that we should let go when we still hold on to it. And what are the mental health impact of holding on to things that we should have let go? Anxiety and stress. Yes, the more we hold on to burdens, we have anxiety and a lot of stress. And, even among the younger people, there's a lot of panic anxiety in these times. Why? Because of a lot of stress that people go through. Also depression. And when the World Health Organization labeled this depression as the most significant factor that for disability among people globally. So because we're holding on to so many things, we become depressed. The rate of depression among the younger generation and in people 50 and above is increasing, is on the increase. And why? Because of a lot of emotional burden that people are holding on to, and also burnout. They already have a lot, to do at work, in your personal life, and then you have this weight to hold on to. You eventually end up being burnt out. So how do I let go? If I choose to let go. Is it our third poll? Or should we continue? Please feel free to, yes, negative self-talk. Yeah, very true. Okay. How do I let go? First, it starts with your mind and the emotional preparation to let go. Because remember that a lot of the things that keep us down are not things that people can see. So it first starts with our mind. We need a shift in our mindset. We need a shift in what's going on in our mind to recognize that this thing I'm holding on to is affecting me negatively. Then it will motivate us to change our mind or to seek for solution. The Bible says that as a man thinks, so he is. So the sum total of who you are is a lot about what's happening in our mind. So it starts from the mind. And then secondly, we need to acknowledge that, yes, this is a situation, this is a problem, and I need to do something about it. But first, you have to acknowledge the reality. I have a problem, and then I need to do something about it. And the second part of acknowledging and accepting is giving yourself the permission to feel. Your emotions are valid. You're not feeling the way that you're feeling because you're a bad person or because you're just simply holding on to. You're feeling what you're feeling because there's a legitimate reason to feel what you're feeling. If someone goes through whatever, if you go through a painful situation, you'll feel pain. If someone hurts you, you feel the hurt and you will have the temptation to not forgive. You have to choose to forgive. So your feelings, your emotions, they are legitimate, but sometimes we keep them so bottled up and we don't even give ourselves the permission. We feel like bad people because we feel the things that we feel. No, the first step to getting solution is you acknowledging that I'm feeling this. I feel angry. I really, whatever that you're feeling, it is legitimate that you feel it, and give yourself the permission to feel it, but don't stay stuck there. The third thing, take the broken pieces and go to the potter. Who is the potter? It's God, right? He made us. He understands the pain of our past. Take it to him. If it's to forgive, it's God who needs to give us the grace to forgive. I had one situation one time, and someone hurt me, and I was like, Lord, yes, I know I need to forgive, but I just want to, can you just give me the permission to just hold on to this a little bit, So take what you're feeling, take it back to God and let God be the one to heal, help you to release it to him. In the book of Jeremiah, the Bible tells us of someone who went to the house of the potter, and he saw the person with the clay was making something, and then he said it was mad in his hand, but the potter took it and made it into another vessel. So no matter what you have been through, no matter how messy that situation is, no matter how tough it is, God can make it into another vessel. That's why we need to take it to him and release it to him. When we choose to move forward, another thing that we'll face, like we said, when we did the poll, one of the greatest things that comes to all of us is the fear of the unknown, the fear of the future. So will the fear go away? Not necessarily, because you still not know what the future holds. So just acknowledge that, accept that uncertainty will always be a part of your life. Focus on the things that you can change. The things that you cannot change, well, it's pointless spending our energy on it. One of my older friends will always say to me, you have the power. You do not have the power to control the rain, but you have the power to take the umbrella with you when you're going out. So I'm not going to bother about the rain, whether it's going to come or not, but I'm going to bother about, did I carry my umbrella as I go out? So get comfortable with living with uncertainty. Focus on things you can control. The things you cannot control, we let them go. And we anticipate success, right? So we keep our minds focused on those things that the future will be good. Then we identify our limiting beliefs. This is very huge. The negative patterns that we talked about, those beliefs that keep us limited, that keep us in one spot, we have to find them and then reframe them. We have to replace them with the positive ones from God's word, from, whatever positive that you also know. But we cannot allow those limiting beliefs to stay the way they are, because then we cannot change. And then be kind to yourself. Like we said, making a change, whether it is it's related to all those other factors that we mentioned, whether it is in a relationship, whether it is at work, whatever it is, it takes a lot of work and commitment. So be kind to yourself. It takes a lot of effort. Show yourself some compassion and give yourself time, and be grateful for where you are. It could have been worse. I always say with my children, gratitude is an expander, because the more grateful you stay, you can try it for 5 days. You can give yourself like a 5-day, 10-day challenge to say, every morning when I wake up, I'm just going to focus on the things that are working and just fill my heart with gratitude, and you see how positive and how, the transformation that you will experience. Get help. Don't stay stuck. Don't think that you need to do it all alone. There's help all around us, and stay committed to the process. Like we said, it's tough. So it will be easy when you start to want to walk away, but stay committed to the process. Get help, whether it is connecting with your family, with community that you're a part of, or getting professional help to help where it is beyond what your immediate personal community can support. Yeah, we talked about overcoming fear. So how do I get a fresh start? Can we take our next poll now? Yes. What supports or tools do you find most helpful when you're trying to let go? Professional help, support from friends and family, meditation, journaling or reflection, and from reading inspirational books or podcasts. What helps you the most? So while we're waiting for the outcomes of our poll, I will continue, so we'll stay within time. Some practical steps for a fresh start. Remember that we said it's a journey. So it takes time, it takes a process, it takes reflection, it takes a lot of sitting down to do some introspection about what is the current state of my life? Where am I coming from? Where am I currently? What do I need to change to go into the future? What does the future that I'm desiring look like? So sitting down to make out time to reflect, to set goals, but more importantly, to take action. Many times at the beginning of the year, we sit down to plan, we do a lot of resolutions, and there are many propositions about why resolutions do not get at the end of the year, why we don't meet our New Year resolution. Yes, goal setting is part of it, because if you don't aim to go anywhere, then you're not going to go anywhere. So setting goals is important, but more importantly is taking action. Like one of my mentors will say, action is the food of champions. For you to move, you must take action. You must do something. Yeah. So our polls show that most of us get our support from friends and family, 80% of us, and some 20% do mindfulness and meditation practices. Excellent. Excellent. The quality of our relationships is very important. Okay, so take action. Start small, but take action. The impact, the compounding effect of little action over time, many times is more than the effect of a huge action that never gets followed up on. So don't always focus on whether the action is so huge. Be consistent. Start small, because when we're also having to let go of some of those difficult things that we talked about, you cannot afford to start big because you'll be discouraged. You remember that some of what you go through is that you lose energy. So you don't even have so much energy to put into doing big things, but start with the little things. And over time, they will compound. And when you look back, you'll be like, oh, wow, I didn't know that I was going to be able to achieve so much. Then build a supportive network and an accountability system. Just like we said in our last poll, having that supportive network, people who cheer you on, who believe in you, is important in this journey. Not that we are going on our own. Then rediscovering our passion and purpose, because first we have identified what we want to change, what is important to us, and what we want to go when we're setting our goals, right? And to make sure that as we're setting our goals, they are not selfish and just focus on us, because whatever must make impact has to outlive us, has to be bigger than us. And that's why connecting with God's purpose for our life is always the best. So know and understand yourself. That's why we said, sit down, allow your emotions, understand your emotions, right? Those, one of the tools that we wrote earlier was journaling in the poll that we just concluded. The journaling helps you to track your journey, to see after a while, you can look back at something that you wrote in January, like, oh, wow, look at where I was, and now look at where I am. So understand yourself as you give yourself the permission to note those emotions so that you can get the right help. It's good to understand, who you are and how best to pursue the change that you desire. And follow your interests, try new things. Don't be stuck in just the way that I know how to do things. And then celebrate your milestones. Like we said earlier, be patient with yourself, learn from setbacks, but keep moving. And some of the other tools that we can work on are the things we mentioned on our poll: meditation, journaling, professional help, and understanding that it's a journey and not a destination. Because even when you get to that place where you defined as your goal, then there's something else that you need to pursue beyond there. So enjoy the journey. When we're making change, remember that we said it can be tough. So how do we stay motivated? How do we continue to stay motivated? Celebrating our wins, having those accountability platforms, systems that we said, reflecting on our journey, not being rigid, be flexible enough to be able to adjust your plans as you go along, and enjoy the journey, and be bold and strong enough to deal with resistance when it comes, right? And resistance don't always mean fighting physically. It means the tenacity to continue. So what's God's perspective about letting go and starting afresh? God's plan is always the best. His word tells us in Jeremiah 29 that the plans that he has for us, they are not plans to harm us, but to give us hope and a future. I never heard anyone say that to anyone, right? So God's plans are always the best for us. So we can trust him when he's showing us what to do. When he's saying forgive, we can trust him. What else does what is God's mind? He also expects us to forgive, to choose forgiveness, and to release ourselves and those who have hurt us, who have kept us in the situations that we are. God also has plans for us to experience renewal and transformation. His word in Isaiah tells us to forget the former things. Sounds like letting go. Do not dwell on the past. See, I'm doing a new thing. Sounds like starting afresh. It says, now it springs up. Don't you perceive it? I am making a way in the wilderness. How tough that sounds. And streams in the wasteland. So those things that look like in our lives are already wasted. There's no future, nothing positive coming. God says, I can make a way in them. And his plan for us is also to have peace and to experience his healing. He tells us, don't be anxious about anything. Anything means anything, but to carry every situation to him in prayer and to maintain a thankful heart as we present our requests to God. And his peace, which men cannot understand, will fill our hearts, guard our hearts. I like that Bible passage that says the peace of God will garrison your heart. When I just think of how a garrison looks, it's just a fortification that makes sure that your peace is inside and nothing can penetrate it. It only comes from God. As we move to a close, just a reminder that change is inevitable, but growth is optional. Whether you like it or not, by this time next year, you will be 1 year older. Or if you already celebrated your birthday or your birthday is in front, you will be 1 year. That is change. It will happen. But whether you grow or not, it's your decision. You have to decide if you will grow. As the change is happening every day, change will continue to happen all around us every day. So many ways at work, the change will continue. What your company wants to do, your company will do. But to grow is your decision. You have to decide if I will grow or not. As we said, it will come with challenges, but we have to be prepared to face it. You can imagine those who are into athletics. They have to train themselves to be a Usain Bolt or whoever, I remember my son, he goes sometimes on Saturday for basketball, and it takes such an effort to wake up. Like Saturday, you want to just sleep, but well, to train, you have to wake up that early to go. So growth is not automatic. It requires our conscious effort and commitment. So we have to make a commitment to learn, to adapt as the changes come, and to evolve. We have to be willing to step out of our comfort zone. As they say, nothing grows in the comfort zone. So as long as you remain there, there's no growth. So we'll take our last poll as we do take this challenge for us to do in our personal life. Yes, our last poll. How confident do you feel about starting over after letting go? Either before now or now that we have had some conversation about the topic. I feel some very confident, somewhat confident, neutral, somewhat unsure, very unsure. Okay, so as we round up our challenge, identify one thing, just one thing. Remember, we said to start small, focus on starting small. One thing that you're holding on to that no longer serves you. Remember the signs that we mentioned, how to know when it's time to let go. Identify just one thing. Take a small actionable step this week or next week to begin the process of letting it go. It has not served you. Why keep holding on to it? Find an accountability circle to share your progress, your experience. Yes, so no matter what life throws at you, remember that you can just breathe. There's always help around you if you just reach out for it. Thank you so much for spending this time with us today. Yes, our poll 4. Yes, very good. Most of us are very confident, somewhat confident. There's a tie between very confident and somewhat confident and somewhat unsure. Somewhat unsure, somewhat confident, very confident. There's help for us every time. We don't have to do life alone. We can always reach out for help. There's help all around us. Thank you. Because one of the things that we want to be doing this year, we will not be able to do it on this call, is we always receive questions after. We receive questions also to our private admin and also on our WhatsApp. We usually keep to 1 hour on this call, and we're very strict on the time because we advertise 1 hour, and the goal is really to be for 1 hour. But in the future, what we want to start doing, yes, please, admin, help us put in the chat how they can reach out to us, how they can reach out to us. Thank you. So we have an Instagram platform. You can reach out to us on our Instagram handle. We have a WhatsApp community that we're building. You can also be a part of our WhatsApp platform if you want to, where you can easily reach us. In subsequent calls, after the 1 hour, we will go offline from social media, and then we can have discussions. So if anyone would want to stay back after the 1 hour, then we can have time to discuss. Like when we did the finance, we had so many questions, but we didn't have the opportunity to be able to answer all the questions, and we couldn't hold a follow-on session. So we will stay after, but not in this call, subsequent calls, as we come for we will put out the information for the next call. We hope to do that earlier, so that people can have the information. On our February edition, we'll be talking about depression. And in the March edition, we'll be talking about trauma. So for those who have questions ahead, can also feel free to send across to us. And we'll make sure that you get the information. So please, the information about how to reach us has been put on the platform. If you also send a direct message to the Breed admin with your number, they can also be in touch with you. Thank you all so much for spending this time with us. We will take questions on any of those platforms, and on subsequent calls, we will stay after the 1 hour just on Zoom to be able to discuss further with everybody. Thank you, everyone, for the time today. God bless you. Bye.